Welcome to Episodic, episode 10. I'm John F. O'Donnell here with the great
Andrea Allen.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We're doing a podcast about mental health, specifically bipolar disorder.
Yes, we are.
All the mental healths around that we know and experience and hate or love or whatever you want to say about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
We're fucking heroes who...
We're doing the Lord's work. The Dark Lord.
Yeah, I mean...
That is.
I mean, you are the good angel of this podcast, and I am the bad angel of this
love
podcast.
it.
I love it.
You love it.
I love to push the boundaries.
You love being...
I get a little dopamine off of being bad.
And I'm like, Andrea, maybe we should tell people we're not mental health professionals. And you're like, John, pretty obvious.
Yeah, I'm wearing a
Pretty
red crop
clear.
top right now.
I'm wearing my Soundgarden t-shirt, like all medical professionals do.
obviously.
All mental health professionals rock their Soundgarden t-shirt.
Yeah, and I'm wearing a full tracksuit and a red crop top.
Hey, this is the new face of mental health awareness. Deal with it, America.
That's how bad mental health awareness is.
Things have gotten so bad that Andrea and John have
Are
been
your
sent
guys.
in. Yeah. Check it out, though.
Yeah, it's a good shirt.
Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Look, I am a 90s kid at heart.
Yeah, you're so deeply 90s.
Dude, I have been taking in a lot of new different music lately, but it is very hard for me to escape out of the 90s. And the 90s are so back in.
I know. Yeah.
That it's like, okay, what, I'm the asshole here? Yes, I embrace everything that is happening.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to find new music?
You're the asshole here. It is. I do feel like younger generations have this like fetish for the 90s almost.
Yes.
Because they feel as if it was like the last time America was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there's some credence to that for sure.
There is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the music that got popular with grunge getting so popular, it was like not this kind of really bullshit, empty bubblegum pop or whatever, super fucked up, whatever.
A reaction to the 80s hair metal of it all.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
also do love hair metal when I'm in the mood.
You know what? This song came on the other day. I was with our friend Joffer.
Nice.
And he's like, I hate this song. I was like, I kind of love it.
Oh, I have no shame in admitting
You know
I
what
love
song?
some trash. What?
Pour Some Sugar on Me.
I love that song.
Pour some sugar on me in the name of love. Come on.
It's so horny.
It's so horny.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are really also corny in addition to being horny, where at one point he sings, one lump or two about the sugar, you know? Like how much you take in your coffee or something.
Dude, name a better combination of horny and corny.
Yeah.
Life is too short.
Is that Def Leppard?
It's Def Leppard,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
shout out to Whitesnake, working for the weekend.
Come on. White Snake, so good.
Everyone's watching.
Yeah.
But there's also, what do you call it? Boston. Is it Boston? She's just a small town girl. Don't stop believing. Journey. Yeah. Foreigner rips too.
Okay, yeah.
Some of these 80s songs are horny and have that like 80s aesthetic, but the lyrics are really like kind of sad or like you're
Yeah.
like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's not like I want to get laid music. It's like I lost my love.
Yeah. There's some depth amidst the gaudy bullshit.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah.
By the way, Steve Winwood, I discovered during not that I didn't know who Steve Winwood was.
Yeah.
But like Valerie, I mean.
Yeah, you love it.
Oh.
You love it.
Also, Steve Winwood had some collaborators from Steely Dan. Again, all this music is not like categorically dog shit. There's definitely a
Steely
dog
Dan's
shit
very
quality,
good.
but like,
yeah.
God, Steve Winwood, when I'm in a mood.
I'm not
Valerie.
actually super familiar with his work.
Do you remember that song, Call on Me, Call on Me?
I don't know.
Wow. So
yeah, I do know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wasn't getting it from your rendition immediately.
From my fist
that
pumping.
to me is okay, but it's
That's
like
not Steve That is not Steve
Okay.
Winwood. It's a sample from Valerie, Call on Me. I'm not
okay, yeah, I
the
kinda
man
know
I
that.
used to be.
I get like take or leave that. I
I get it.
But now I'm listening to newer music I've just been getting down with Jeff Rosenstock, who's very good. I can't even really describe the genre. It's like this, like, you know, like kind of has this like chaos and urgency to it, but he sounds so great.
Okay.
You know?
What's the voice like?
It kind of like goes up and down in pitches and stuff like that, which is cool. And yeah, he is one of the top billed musicians at this big music festival that also has comedians at it that I'm doing in late October in Gainesville, Florida. It's called Fest.
Yeah.
So I'm familiarizing myself with some of the bands so I don't come across as such a poser.
With your Soundgarden t-shirt.
With my sound, I'm not wearing my Soundgarden
You old
t-shirt
bitch.
at the punk festival.
No.
You know, can't do that. But I am super excited for this.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I've had some friends go to that work at that festival, and they only have great things to say about it. So
yeah.
Must be nice. Hey, Fest, maybe you reach out to me.
Why not? Let's get Andrea on there.
I think I'd be appropriate for that, for sure.
Of course.
But who cares?
Yeah.
Truly,
whatever.
I don't care.
Whatever.
But so this week, we're taking a little turn, I guess, or we're going to discuss part of my mental health journey that is not necessarily linked to bipolar disorder. However, I do feel like we've talked about comorbidities a little bit on this podcast.
Comorbidities meaning a secondary illness or something that is also connected, right? Is that a okay definition? Yeah.
And bipolar disorder so often has the addiction comorbidity with it.
Something like 60 to 70% of people with bipolar disorder have the comorbidity of addiction. Yes.
And like in my research or exploration of like trauma helping to induce mood disorders, or also like CPSD is often misdiagnosed as a mood disorder or borderline. Like I feel like there's just a lot more work to be done in like mood swings and social issues forming relationships and stuff like that. That certainly is part of bipolar disorder, but it goes into a bunch of other categories. So the point being, everyone's swimming in kind of a similar pool. And
obviously it's hyper relevant to talk about addiction issues if 60 to 70% of people with a bipolar diagnosis are dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And addiction is, in my estimation, I mean, I don't know. I would say, as someone who is sober and identifies as someone who struggles with addiction, I think there's ways addiction shows up. I think one is like genetic, like a person who has a sip of alcohol and is like, you know, I will drink this till the rest of my life till I die. I think there's a severity of addiction for sure. And then there's alcohol use disorder, which is something that's been coined in the more recent times, which is like you're dealing with a trauma or you're trying to process something, and so you're using alcohol to suppress the feelings or help cope. And I've wondered if maybe I fell more into this category when I was really going through a bunch of stuff at a younger age. And then I'll like, every once in a while, I'll try to drink, like every few years. And then I'll immediately be like, this is the best.
Yeah.
And not be able to stop. And I'll be like, all right, well, I guess.
Well, I guess I'm not in the alcohol use disorder
I know, but
category.
I want to. I'm like, I'm stable now. A glass of champagne.
Yeah, well, the equivalent for that would be like me being like, oh, you know, I haven't had a manic episode in many years. I'm going off my meds, baby.
I know.
People do that all the time.
I
You
know.
know, that's a real recurrent bad issue that happens.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, oh, uh-oh.
It's
you know?
annoying to feel like something holds such power over your life in certain ways, or it's tough. It's
Do you oftentimes miss drinking alcohol?
As of recently, yes.
Really?
Yes. My relapse urges, I mean, because of the world. I think situationally.
Okay.
Trying to handle the cognitive dissonance that one must keep in order to walk around in the world right now with so many horrendous things happening. It's so brutal. Anyone who's sober and staying sober during this, like, well done. And yeah, I had a time where I was like, maybe I'll secretly, there was like a real possibility of me secretly going to a bar, and I was like, whoa, this is like crazy.
This is relatively recently?
Yeah, but Excuse me. But at the end of the day, I think what I've learned through, like, when I say relapses, I mean like one night of maybe having like 4 drinks. And that's happened like maybe once every few years, much less frequently as of recent, because I've been sober for a good amount of time now, like over 10 years. I just know that that's not going to work out. You know what I mean? Like, I have such knowledge and clear evidence that, like, me drinking again is not gonna go anywhere. Number one, I don't have fun anymore because I know that I'm gonna have to stop, and I'm like, well, I can't even like get hammered and I'm like upset about it while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I think the last relapse I had was actually in the early stages of my relationship, because I was like trying to really enter into an intimate, real relationship, and it was flaring the fuck out of my anxiety in a level that's like, let me say, if you have like sexual trauma or complicated, problems with family or histories of whatever type of abuse, being like, I'm going to give the keys to this person and hope it works out is so fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like, people often say the beginnings of a relationship are like the rosy good times where you're like falling in love and it's like easy and you're enamored. And there is truth to that. I was definitely feeling that. But at the same time, it was so difficult for me.
Yeah.
Saying I love you, putting faith in the fact that this person is not going to be disappointing and cause you harm when, like, most, especially someone who has relationships with men, historically, you guys, not awesome to women.
Sure.
There's a lot of infidelity in my past, my family dynamic. So it was excruciating at times. And I'm so glad I pushed through, but we went on a vacation and I was like, I'm going to have a margarita. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, don't worry about it. And I was drunk off like one.
Yeah.
Wearing heels in Puerto Rico, just being like, I'm fucking good. And he was like, are you?
Immediately like sloppy.
So sloppy.
Yikes.
Oh, the feeling. This is what I miss about alcohol. There's a moment, we call it the click amongst my people, where you are starting to get intoxicated. Like, you feel a shift. So like the whole experience of like drinking, especially like a tequila where it's like warm and you feel your body kind of like physically reacting to it. And then you have enough in the system where it's like click and you're like, oh yeah. It's amazing.
It's called the click?
The click.
That is weird.
Yeah. Do you feel that or no?
I don't know. I mean, one of the last times I drank, or the last time I drank was when I was manic in my last manic episode in November of 2020.
Yeah.
And I just drank so much single malt scotch. I guess I was feeling all the clicks.
It's all clicking on all cylinders.
It felt great. I mean, I was like shit railed, but it physically.
Shit railed.
You never heard that?
It's a great term. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, there's shit railed, shit faced, shit canned.
Shit canned, I love.
Yeah,
I used
shit
to be a
railed
big
is pretty good.
Shit railed is a very nice. I like that.
So I was shit railed during the pandemic, manic out of my gourd, drinking Lefroy, single malt scotch, smoking American Spirit blue cigarettes, living it up. And I remember physically it feeling really like there being like a euphoria around it,
It's really
But
nice.
I guess it's really nice. But you know what? I feel lucky in this respect. I don't miss it. I'm like,
sure.
I'm great. I'm able somehow to just be aware and sober in this crazy world.
Yeah, well, it's necessary. Like,
Yeah.
I do miss aspects of alcoholism, or alcohol, but I also know that I'm really rose-colored glassesing it, because there was so much bad stuff, and my suicidal ideation was so much worse during that time. It was bad. It was unsustainable. It was terrible. I'm so proud of getting sober. It's one of the best decisions I made in my life. That being said, a dark bar where no one knows you,
Don't do it.
Ugh.
You're going to be disappointed in yourself in real
No,
time
I know
with
that,
each sip.
That's why I won't do it. You know? It's not fun.
Yeah.
But when, the glory days, I do, when you're talking about being shit-railed in the pandemic, I didn't relapse during the pandemic, but I certainly had a sex addiction time, as we talked about going to an island with a man I didn't know in the middle of the night, which dovetails perfectly into 12-step stuff. Because when I stopped using alcohol, pretty immediately I moved to weed, and then after weed, and sex was always in the mix. Go ahead.
No, I remember you're like, I'm just gonna do weed,
Dude,
man. I remember when you thought that you could just transition to weed, become like a lovable pothead. Everything was gonna be just fine for you. No paranoia, no falling issues. I was like, Andrea, are you sure that you want to do this? I was like, this is not gonna work out.
Oh, but there was a time. There was a time.
And then I remember you being like, I don't think this weed thing is working for me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, but
it's
just,
okay.
Hey, I can't smoke weed. It's not in the cards, dude.
I stopped smoking weed during the pandemic because I had so much paranoia that I was like, I might throw myself off the bridge.
So like 5 years ago.
But yeah, I was I had lots of friends who smoke weed. I do think habitual weed use, like we've talked about, has side effects and bad things that happen as a result of that. We've talked about that, but I do just prefer someone who gets stupid stoned and has a funny night versus someone who gets hammered. They're just such a less dangerous person to be around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I can have fun being around people when they're baked. Like I can get to that wavelength
goofy,
with them.
yeah,
it can be goofy and silly and fun,
Eating a pizza when you're high, like I miss it. But I was transferring. My therapist at the time, I had just gotten into therapy when I got sober. I was going through changes. I was going through changes.
Andrew, people aren't going to know that we were listening to that before the podcast.
Well, that's a little behind the scenes.
We were listening to Changes by Black Sabbath, but covered by
Young Blood.
And then the Charles Bradley cover is really good. But anyway, go ahead.
It's great. Go ahead. It was a big time of changes, but my therapist at the time, I was doing CBT, and I'd gotten sober, and I was just starting to dig into the depth of the narcissistic abuse that my father had been doing to me, the narcissistic family system. It was a lot of like mind blown stuff. Even we talked about this, James Adomian, very funny comedian.
Yeah, James Adomian's a brilliant comic. Look him up.
Lovely person from what I have heard.
Hell yeah.
But I
miss him.
Yeah.
He's in Los Angeles. But anyway, go ahead.
But he was doing a podcast that I was on, and I had just had my last trip with my dad, and he had done something so abhorrent. And there was always something abhorrent. It was there was going to be some screaming or manipulative, awful, I don't want to get into it, but there was just, he brought a lot of pain. But I was on a podcast and I was talking about this trip, very like dazed from it and shocked. And James Adomian was just like, if this is all like true, like you shouldn't have a relationship with this person. And I was like, whoa. Like I didn't know that was really an option.
So it was kind of like a aha moment.
Yeah, because I respect James's opinion so much. He was talking about his father who does not accept him being gay. And I was like listening to him talking about that and that he was estranged from him for that. And I was like, oh, wow, like you could do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy who just talked about something that I think is unacceptable is being like, that's unacceptable. And I felt so validated for that moment. And I was ready on the tipping point, but it pushed me over.
Wow. Have you ever told him that?
No, I haven't. I'm like, I don't know him really that well. So I'm like, I got to go. If I run into James Adomian, I'm going to have to be like, you changed my life.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, James is a brilliant guy and a really great person, really insightful. And I loved when he lived in New York. I loved hanging out with him when he was in New York.
He's phenomenal. But
sometimes that's unfortunately the thing you have to do with a narcissistic person, with a borderline person. Sadly, you just have to cut away from them.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's, it's like somebody that is oftentimes going to be a family member or significant other, things like that. You have to sadly cut away and hope that eventually they become so isolated they hit some sort of rock bottom
Yeah.
situation that they actually get some help.
Yeah.
Because borderline people, narcissistic people will rationalize away that they need help
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, it's kind of like a feature of the
Yes.
disorder. It's
Yes.
really sad.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
It's a really lonely, self-hating person under all the layers, which once you work through all of the pain they cause. And I don't think there's some people who online, like I've been on the narcissistic abuse Reddits, and there's people who are like, I fucking hate this narcissist. They ruined my life. I wish them dead. And I can't disagree with, I can't invalidate that these people have those feelings, you know? And I can hope for them that they eventually get peace from moving forward from this abuse and feeling sad for the narcissist. I don't know. It's really up to the person.
There's like no good answer. It's just a sad situation.
And I think I try not to ever say things. I'm kind of flippant about my dad's death and my relationship with him because it's how I cope with it. But I hate when people are like, family is the most important. When people are like, you were estranged from a family member. There's this like pearl clutching about family. And some people's family members are really dangerous. And it is in this person's best interest and for their quality of life to be free from that, to choose their own family, and to build the tools to, if they have to have a relationship with this person, have it be so boundaried and like protect themselves. I think it's really dangerous to just make the person who estranges themselves from their family feel like a piece of shit because there's already guilt.
Absolutely. And sometimes there are these reckless, awful people, and that's why there's a lot of folks that, like you just said, have chosen family.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is 100% valid. Is it a sad situation for family members not to get along to the point where they're estranged from each other? Of course.
I mean, I'm sure we're seeing that now in our political
It's been happening
environment.
for a long time in political environments.
Yeah.
There's families that are just torn apart based on being on one side of, you know, the culture war or the other, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And does that suck? Absolutely.
Yeah. And boomers getting absolutely brainwashed by right-wing propaganda. You're kind of losing a parent.
Yeah. I mean, you have to you almost have to be like, look, I care about this person interpersonally enough. I understand, you know, they're not affecting policy.
Sure. Yeah. But
I'm going to enjoy as best I can their company while they're around.
It's really your choice.
I think it's an individual choice. You know? I get it.
But, you know, I had not been diagnosed with bipolar disorder during that time. So there was another cook in the kitchen that I wasn't aware of. But all this abuse-related trauma and other, like, medical trauma that's part of my story, too, that is, you know, it complicates it. But
Andrew's dealing with a lot.
I mean, yeah. Everyone, like,
I know. Everybody is. I wasn't trying to be flippant there. I was just. Also, I wanted to say, I'm thinking of like the bipolar cook in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's like funny to me.
He has great ideas.
He's really, really doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's working so fast.
He's throwing ingredients in that you would never imagine.
Yeah.
He's so creative. Or she.
Yeah. They're making amazing dishes. They have like really out there.
Yeah.
And then the next day, just crying.
Yeah. Next day, lying on the kitchen floor.
Can't even make a soup.
Yeah. Can't even make a soup.
Depression is tough, dude.
Can't even get out of bed to microwave a soup.
Get out of bed to microwave a soup.
No Amy's for you.
No Amy's organic soup for you.
But so my therapist at the time recommended, I had done some AA 12-step stuff, but like didn't really stick, or, you know, I wasn't like dedicated to it at that time. So my therapist recommended to me, though, a 12-step program called ACOA, which I have mentioned in this podcast before. It's called Adult Children of Alcoholics. It's also an umbrella term for adult children of dysfunctional families. And it's a 12-step program designed Now, again, I've said about 12 steps, there's certain strains of it that's like really creepy and Christian. People get like very culty and weird about 12 step. I understand trepidation. You got to find a meeting that's good for you. You know, take what you want about it. I don't have a higher power that's religious. I have like a spirituality to it. You know, I would rather someone be annoying and Christian and alive than be an atheist who overdoses, is how I feel about 12 step. But this 12-step program, I mean, you go through what's called the laundry list. So before you enter into a 12-step program, you take a quiz as a lot of, you do a diagnostic as
Sure.
a lot of mental health journeys begin with. And it's called the laundry list, and it's 14 characteristics of an adult child. And you can see there's a lot of writing on this.
Was this resonating with you?
Blowing my weave back.
Wow.
It was like,
yeah. It's like revelatory.
Oh, look, it's my whole way of being boiled down into like 13 characteristics.
Wow.
And, you know, people are complex. I don't think I'm just this. But it's just like a lot of 12-step programs have like catchphrases like hurt people, and like all these like kind of like take what you want or take what you want, leave the rest. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the power to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah, the serenity prayer.
Yes, I love this. There's been nights where I've been saying that prayer.
Yeah.
So I think 12-step is like this kind of amazing thing that has been shown to heal addicts kind of better than most. It's incredibly successful in comparison to a lot of stuff. It's built around community and like shared experience that shows you that you're not alone. I think isolation is a big enemy of any type of addiction or mental illness. So the laundry list, let me go through the laundry list. These characteristics we seem to have in common due to being brought up in an alcoholic household or dysfunctional household. And I would say I was raised in a narcissistic family system. Pretty nails on the head. A lot of the characteristics of that. So 1, we become isolated and afraid of people and authority figures. 2, we become approval seekers and lose our identity in the process. 3, we are frightened by angry people and any personal criticism. 4, we either become alcoholics, marry them, or both, or find a compulsive personality such as a workaholic to fulfill our sick abandonment needs. Hello.
Yeah.
We live life from the viewpoint of victims and are attracted by that weakness in our love and friendship relationships. We have an overdeveloped sense of responsibility, and it is easier for us to be concerned with others rather than ourselves. This enables us to not look too closely at our own faults. We get guilt feelings when we stand up for ourselves instead of giving in to others. We become addicted to excitement.
Okay.
Which, again, bipolar's got that cooking too.
Sure.
We confuse love and pity and tend to love people we can pity and rescue. We have stuffed our feelings from our traumatic childhoods and lost the ability to feel or express our feelings because it's painful. Denial. We judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. We are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order to not experience painful abandonment feelings, which we receive from living with sick people who were never there emotionally for us. Alcoholism is a family disease, and we become para-alcoholics and take on the characteristics of that disease even if we don't pick up the drink. Para-alcoholics are reactors rather than actors.
Wow. So a lot of this resonated?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I mean, one of them, I'll show you my notes on, I relate to all of these, even now. Like 12-step it's always good to do maintenance with 12 steps. When my dad was passing, I was going to 12 steps again because I knew that the trauma of like being engaged with him and going through the process of a parent dying, when you have a tough relationship with a parent and they pass, it's a different experience, you know?
How so?
Well, you're grieving the death of a parent, which, you know, if you still have child and parent connection to them, is very difficult. It's kicking up your own mortality, as any death of a close person in your life does. And you are grieving the relationship that you didn't have and never will have with them because they're dying. And especially with an abusive person, they're not always sunshine and roses when they're going out. Sometimes they even lash out more because they're the most vulnerable they've ever been, or they're frightened and that's how they know how to cope with fear, is like lashing out. So it's like it's so hairy. You know what I mean? There's so many things at play. That fucked me up in a way. That fucked me up for like a year plus straight, you know? And it was like, I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be fucked up. My dad had battles for his life many, many times over my life. So there was also a part of me that was like, I don't want to be in this again. I don't want to be in the hospitals. I don't want to go through the process of seeing someone so sick. It's like hyper fucking traumatic. And even with knowing all the things that I knew, I had no idea how like physically it was going to make me feel. Like it was emotionally draining. It was so I had to repress so many things just to go through the motions of it. There's the funeral, which then all the dynamics of everyone in the fucking family, everyone goes crazy during funerals. I'm sure you've noticed. Death really kicks up like not the best in some people and the best in other people, but
sure.
So I just had to like white knuckle it. But my therapist was like, you're probably going to get physically sick. You should be really careful about your health. And I got super fucking sick. My immune system was shot. It's like a physical, emotional, dreadful, and also deeply human experience. Yeah. But I was going to 12-step during. I was also like talking about the things my dad was doing and getting big pops from the room.
No, I was almost going to say, you got some good bits out of it.
Oh, man, yeah. I've one of my favorite new bits about it. But like,
holy moly,
there's
dude.
levity about it. I at one point I remember going to a meeting and being like, I can't believe this motherfucker is making me go through this again. And that feels really selfish to like make someone else's death about like, ugh. But I was like, here we go again. And people really resonated with that. It's a safe place to say the like quiet thing out loud so that it gets out and it doesn't fester and you can process it with a group of supportive people. But some of the stuff that I really resonated for this is being afraid of people or authority figures. I was like terrified of my father up until his death. Like you get an email from him with like a weird subject matter. He used to he spoke in like almost riddle-like language, which was really odd. He's like a super interesting person in certain ways, but like it would be like your recent transgression. And I would be like, what?
That'd be the subject line of the email?
Yes.
Your recent transgression?
Yes. Oh,
dot.
Yes. Yeah, it was so maniacal sometimes. And so, yeah, like I deeply was a people pleaser because I really was afraid of conflict in relationships, incredibly conflict averse, and just was like, my identity is his identity, or I'm an extension of him. I don't really know a lot about myself. Like, I obviously have tenets of my personality. I'm a person, but a lot of it was like, I live to be good enough for this person. And however I need to cobble together a self-image to gain their approval, I'm going to do it. It was incredibly influential over my life, like choosing all my steps, what college I went to, what jobs I had, incredibly critical of looks, weight, like deeply controlling. But it's so hard to break away from that type of influence in your life because parents are supposed to be right and have your best interests at heart. And in some ways, he wanted me to be a success and put me in the position to do so. And so it's not all malicious, really, but there is an underlying sense of like, if you disobey in this plan that I have for you, I don't love you anymore, or you're not worthy of love. And that's fucking crazy.
That's so crazy. And it seems like it was all, even setting you up for success is more him worrying about a reflection of himself.
Yes, it's all that. They are, if people imply that they do bad actions, they gaslight so that that's not true. And if other people have successes who are associated with them, they kind of like take that on as their success.
So it's very important to him that the golden child was successful because it's an extension of him.
I was like my father's son in a lot of ways. It's hard to speak ill in certain ways because this person wasn't purely evil. This person was like, had shortcomings that he would never overcome. And he caused a lot of harm, and he also was brilliant and hardworking and resilient, and there's a bunch of stuff.
What else you got?
We judge ourselves harshly and have a very low sense of self-esteem. That one will stay with me for my whole life. I fight hard with that one.
Yeah. I know you've put in some work, and we've talked about this, to improve your self-esteem.
Yeah.
But it's still a struggle.
It's a big battle.
I mean,
everyone has a battle with that on some level, I think, but
I mean, not everyone.
Sure, right. Not you, precious angel.
Also golden child.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? The fact that I like hanging out with you all the time, shouldn't that just get rid of all your low self-esteem?
Totally, dude. To be in the presence of such messianic talent, one can only allow that to trickle down.
Yeah, can't you just get the little trickle down of that?
You would think.
And get lifted up and let go of your low self-esteem. Andrea, you, of so many people, do not deserve to have low self-esteem. You're wonderful.
I appreciate that, and thank you. And I know that. I think now in my life, I do know that more than ever, but it is shocking how easily that shit can creep back in. And then you're like recently I've been having some trouble with it. I've also been having trouble with like the way that I look and aging as a woman. There's been some stuff that I've been like struggling with. And I'm like, I recently was like, oh my God, you're like being so fucking mean to yourself again. I didn't realize that it had started creeping in, but it just like, it's the essence of your being in a certain way or the way that you're taught to be a person. So it's really tough to unravel that stuff.
You can't just rationalize it away.
No, you have to like feel it, which is it's so hard to quantify that, but like.
It's like mindfulness practice.
Yeah, you like feel it in your bones.
You actually saying you feel in your bones almost sounds like figurative, but you actually do have a physical feeling associated with it.
Yeah.
It
can change your brain change your neural pathways, change your brain chemistry. You can put in the work to feel that relief, but it takes a lot of work and ongoing work. Dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order to not.
Slow down a little bit.
Sorry.
Was that?
Number 12. This is one of the ones that got a big circle.
Okay.
We are dependent personalities who are terrified of abandonment and will do anything to hold on to a relationship in order to not experience painful abandonment feelings, which we receive from living with sick people who are never there emotionally for us.
Whoa.
I know this one's heavy.
Yeah.
But it, again, like so often the question people ask a lot of those who stay in abusive relationships, whether it be physical or emotional. Number one, I hate when people ask that question as their first question because I'm like, that's so telling. That's such an immediate blaming of the victim and not like a why is this person abusing another person and why do we have a system that enables that to keep happening? Like, there's so many more relevant reactions to that.
Yeah.
But it is the status quo of a lot of the ways that society views abusive relationships, especially with women, because society is deeply misogynistic. So it's like, it's easier to hate the woman and think she's weak than to tackle the fact that like women are so systemically abused that we're primed to just like stay in that cycle. That's a truth that a lot of people don't want to contend with, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to acknowledge and want to accept because it's so sad and so
sad.
fucked up.
Yeah, it's really sad and fucked up. And like, so in this thing, I would say the majority of my relationships up until this time period, and I still afterwards had relationships that had a lot of codependency to them, but like it was good people, codependency on both sides, but like the people were loving towards me. But my relationships up to this point were all abusive, like cheating, disregarding, ignoring, manipulating, sexual abuse. Like, it's just like, there's no way that you can come from a system where you being abused is so fundamental to that system existing to then be able to have a healthy, loving relationship. You just don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
like,
you have to put in a lot of work before you can not be around someone that is mean to you or shitty to you.
Yeah, I mean, and like to my point about my first year of my relationship, I was like holding on for dear life.
I remember us talking about that and how how you were like, you were so scared about opening up to this person.
I wanted to leave so often.
It's like you were in like fight or flight mode
the whole time. And we had a lot of fun during the early parts, but it was shocking how like immersing myself in this in a real way was like really tough, but an incredibly worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah.
But you got to be ready.
Yeah. And you put in the work and you push through and it's all good.
It is. It's, but I still like come to this as a resource. And when people have trouble in their relationships, people have issues, of course. And like when it says adult child, the name is so relevant to me because calling you a child is not like a pejorative thing. It's that you don't have the tools to emotionally regulate yourself as an adult would because you weren't like parented in a correct way in some cases. So like to be in a relationship, you do have to have adult tools. You do have to be able to like emotionally regulate and have compassion for yourself and the other person. Like there's a whole lot of maturity that needs to come into the picture for you to have a loving relationship. And an adult child, like an unhealed person, is just not going to be able to really handle that,
Yeah. I guess that person doesn't have the tools to do it.
They can't. And they'll always be attracted to a person who is similarly dysfunctional because it feels like they understand you, or
they're too scared of somebody that is not
in a
like
better
that.
place. Yeah, because you'll feel like you'll be judged if you show the true what's behind the curtain, which is something I definitely felt. And I never thought I would be married or really ever have a boyfriend, to be honest. I never thought I'd have a boyfriend who would like date me in the open. Like, these are just the truths that I felt. And I think a lot of people who are abused feel that way. And also I think a lot of women feel that way. So it's like amazing that I am where I am, and this program had a lot to do with it. But there was another part of it that was really, so the ACA promises, this is cool. So the promises of like what we'll try to work towards. We'll discover our real identities by loving and accepting ourselves. How cute, how sweet.
Sounds nice.
Our self-esteem will increase as we give ourselves approval on a daily basis. Shout out gratitude.
Gratitude practice.
Mm-hmm. Fear of authority figures and need to quote unquote people please will leave us. That one took a long time for me. There was 2 seasons of that. I had people please with men, and then I was like, oh, I also people please with women. Oh no.
Oh no.
Our ability to share intimacy will grow inside us. As we face our abandonment issues, we will be attracted by strengths and become more tolerant of weakness. We will enjoy feeling stable, peaceful, and financially secure. We will learn how to play and have fun in our lives. We will choose to love people who can love and be responsible for themselves. I really like that one.
Yeah. This sounds like such good stuff.
It's really good stuff.
What a great program.
I know. 12-step really rips, dude.
This is this your standard 12? This is a version of it, right?
This is
like
a
you were
version
saying.
of it. Yeah.
But is like the other versions the same stuff?
Similar. They all have similar through lines for sure.
Yeah.
This one is focused on dysfunctional which also, like, if you're in the AA one, there's probably a chance that you're also qualified.
Yeah.
I've also gone to sex and love addicts. Like,
And there's also Al-Anon.
yes. Yeah.
Which is for family members of
alcoholics. And Al-Anon and ACOA are like sisters.
Okay.
For sure.
Anyway, go ahead.
I think Al-Anon and AA are probably the programs that have maybe the most in common.
Okay.
Because having an alcoholic family member pretty much guarantees that there's some dysfunction going on. We will choose to, healthy boundaries and limits will become easier for us to set. Fear of failure and success will leave us, and we will intuitively make healthier choices. With help from our ACA support group, we will slowly release our dysfunctional behaviors. And gradually, with our higher powers' help, we will learn to expect the best and get it. My higher power is water, because everything on this planet is kind of made of it, and it's like super powerful and bigger than us. And it's not related to God. I think a lot of people go nature-y with the higher powers when they're not religious.
Yeah.
And I love to take baths.
Nice.
There's a cleansing element to water that does run through religious ideology also. So that was what I was like, I'll pick that.
Nice.
And so there's a lot of work to be done in these books. And you really got to be, we talked about the gift of desperation when we're talking about people who have narcissism. You got to really be ready to do this, because it's like this is going to be like a year plus of your life and a lifelong commitment to taking care of yourself. That is work.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is some heavy emotional labor that you're putting in here. This is all good stuff, man.
It's really good.
This could be so helpful for so many people.
I know. And I hate the stank that's on 12-step, because
it really is, because even in my mind, I was like, 12 steps like kind of lame.
Yes,
or something.
I know. And a lot of people who don't want to face their addiction
because
are like,
I've heard that from other people. They're like, 12 steps lame. I'm like, I guess it's lame. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And it's so much of it is so deeply unlame and so could save people's fucking lives.
Yeah.
There are definitely people who would have killed themselves if they had not gone into these programs. Wow. Myself kind of included.
Holy shit.
Let's see. Okay, this is something that really there's some real underlines in this section. Okay. I won't do too much reading, but I'll do. While some adult children confuse powerlessness or helplessness, there are others who dismiss the idea of admitting powerlessness as step one suggests. These adult children believe they're all-knowing, all-sensing, and all-flexible. They secretly feel powerful in their ability to adapt to any situation or group of people they might encounter. These adult children make great salespeople, planners, and instructors. No situation is too challenging, and no group of people is too complex for these adult children to, quote, conquer, end quote, with their adaptive behavior. These adult children usually see no need to ask for help in their lives, believing they're self-sufficient and beyond such need. They feel powerful in their self-sufficient control. They tend to manipulate others for things they want, but find that they're not happy with themselves when their wants are met by others. These adult children rarely stop to think that self-sufficiency is covering up a fear of rejection, which they think could come if they ask for help. Meanwhile, to ask for help and get it might mean that someone would get to know them, and that is too risky. In such cases, self-sufficient power is really a mechanism to ensure isolation and aloneness. These adult children remain in control and are suspicious or indifferent to notions of powerlessness mentioned in step one. They don't often trust what they hear in ACA meetings, but they adapt to remain in control.
So that
resonated
you.
with me hard.
That's you right
If
there.
you're a type A person who's like, there's like a real, I understand this because I felt this for a long time, but there's a real pride and toughness when people have had like Irish Catholics really bring this one on.
Yeah.
The ability to like be tough and endure and like be like a fighter who can stand on their own 2 feet. And I think while toughness is an admirable trait, I think people hide behind it to be like, I'm a survivor. I survived.
Yeah.
That's
Push
the
everything
core
down.
of my identity. Yeah. And I definitely lived by that coping mechanism for a long time.
That you could be this self-sufficient entity.
Yeah, and I can handle anyone. I mean, I will say having a narcissistic parent does allow you to be really perceptive to other people's needs and what they want from you, and suspicious, but like because you are dealing with an emotionally volatile person all the time, you are really like keeping track of the narcissist's state of emotion, where they are. So like you bend to try to appease them because them going off the rails is going to be really bad. So like this one
Trying to keep an even keel.
Really to paying attention to people's social cue. Oh my God, I know someone's a piece of shit like years before other people know. I've got a nose of a hound dog because I really just honed this skill set of being able to like be 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah. I feel like you're so much better at that than me. I feel like I'm like, everybody's nice.
Yeah, and that's
I feel
beautiful.
Like, I guess, but also that opens me up to more easily being manipulated.
Yeah.
You know? Even though I think I'm pretty good at not being manipulated, but I think sometimes I can see past some red flags.
Your instincts towards wanting to believe people are good at their core is lovely.
Yeah.
I think it's lovely. I wish that I try to like take that on, but I have a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah.
Because I know what people are capable of.
Yeah.
But this idea, like I really had this thing where like I can handle damaged people. I can manipulate to make them feel comfortable. I can have relationships with them because I want to save damaged people. Because at a level, I wanted to save a damaged parent. So it's like, I really had this whole tough guy shell built up pretty good. And I was just getting involved with damaged people all the time, reliably knowing that it wasn't going to work out, but like somehow taking this pride in being able to like understand this person and help this person.
Yeah.
This person did not extend any of that grace or care towards me, but that's like how I was. That's how I was in the world.
So that one really resonated with you.
That one hit.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Couple more.
Oh, this one's brutal. I mean, this is a tough, I tell people, if you're going to go into these programs wholeheartedly, it is going to be really fucking tough in the beginning because you're opening up the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you're also like, I think people often, as a way to stay sick, they, again, like align with the identity that they're so tough and they can handle tough stuff. And they also go like, my situation's so unique that like I can't be helped because it's so complicated. I'm sure we've met people like this where.
Sure. And that's such a like, there's so much danger in wanting to have this uniqueness about your issue.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I can't possibly get any help or do anything for this because I'm so unique and special, which actually is sort of this dangerous flip side of the coin of, being an individual and stuff like that.
No, it really is like the warped identity that they call it the false self.
Ooh.
The warped identity that you develop because of this upbringing feels central to your survival. So when you get a list that's like, hey, this is what you're like ah!
It's got to be jarring as fuck, dude.
Really, you're going to cry a lot. And then also this will be like this intense feeling of relief to kind of get answers to questions that you really like didn't even know you were asking. And humbling to be like, I thought I was so unique, and this is a room of people that literally all have a version of the same story as me. Like, it's beautiful, but it's also like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no. My bad tools are being taken from me.
Wow, this is amazing, actually.
It's fucking amazing.
Honest.
There's something really actually I love that 12-step also talks about. They talk about religious abuse, which we've covered a lot in this show. And there's militant parents and religiously abusive parents, like parents who are in religious cults who abuse their children by raising them in that environment. Especially like military disciplinarian parents. There's a lot of discussion of that as a form of abuse. So I wrote, my father is militaristic, because he absolutely was.
Yeah.
Who was the hypochondriac parent or person in the family? Hello, it's me.
With the yeah.
Hypochondria comes up a lot with 12-step people. It's a place to put all your anxiety.
Because maybe it's like the hypochondriac is like, okay, if you can control every aspect.
Yes, you can get ahead of everything, of everything. You can stay in this anxiety loop that you're just like living in all the time.
Yeah.
Not good. Who was the sexually abusive parent or person in the family? Nobody in my case, but so many 12-step people come from sexual abuse. And there's so much sexual abuse in our fucking society. And we don't want to admit it if it's like woven into our government and power structures. And we just like don't want to go there.
Yeah, we don't want to really face all of this.
Oh my God. And we ostracize victims, and they feel guilt and shame, and it is just a fucking nightmare. So if you have sexual abuse, I think this is can be really helpful.
How can people, we'll talk about this at the end too, but how do people find out about this organization? Like, what's a good way for people to get, let's say we have episodic listeners who have that have this addiction issues or family dysfunctional dynamics.
Yeah.
How can they get involved and find out about this stuff?
ACOA.com.
What is it?
ACOA.com or
ACOA.com.
Or just throw Adult Children of Alcoholics in the Googs.
Yeah.
It'll come up. There's Zoom meetings now. I prefer in-person meetings, but like if you don't have the, proximity to one, or like a local meeting, you don't really like it. Like there's Zoom meetings. This community is self-sufficient, funded by like the people that run it, run by the people. Like it's such a really deeply community organizer kind of based group, which helps to stop abuse of power and hierarchy in 12 steps, because the members step up and volunteer and whatever. But just, search Adult Children of Alcoholics. Super accessible, super easy. So this is the family diagram. Oh my God. Yeah. It's always helpful to look at this. So you try to zoom out and look at your family in terms of all of the members in the tree. And it helps you to kind of be like, oh, I'm understanding how this happened,
Yeah.
To zoom out and look, and you're given like labels. So you look at it's a family history diagram. It's a family tree.
Yeah.
You're given a list of traits that are, broad, but like, are good starting points. So the ones that I checked off are alcoholic addict, used alcohol or drugs, worked a lot / workaholic, worried a lot, neurotic, perfectionist, high strung, harsh, always critical, verbally abusive, chronically ill / hypochondriac, great cook. This is one of my absolute favorites. Great cook, parentheses, always thought of herself last. If that is not so many of our goddamn mothers, I do not know.
Absolutely.
What a great fucking term.
Yeah.
They really slapped for that one,
Yeah,
ACOA.
that's really good.
Emotionally ill, sickly child who's too sensitive, always had their face in the mirror, thought she was better than others, sexually aggressive, not safe, argumentative, people pleaser, martyr. So those are all the ones that I was like, I know those guys.
Wow, this is such a robust, in-depth, amazing thing.
It's crazy.
Who developed this?
So the guy who started AA was everyone knows your friends of whatever. What's the name that people used to say when they Tony A in 1978. So I don't know if Tony, friends with Tony is the shorthand you use if people ask you if you're in the program. They ask, "Are you friends with Tony?" Because it used to be like you would get fired from your job if you were like,
oh wow,
if you were like actively seeking treatment for alcoholism. One of the questions in the entering the U.S. as a citizen naturalization process is, are you an alcoholic or do you abuse alcohol? It is so, addiction is so reviled in our culture and also so present at the same time. And seeking help ostracizes you also. It's like such an impossible mind fuck. But yeah, this program has been around since the 70s. It has its foibles. It's had its bad moments, but like, this book is huge. There's also another book that you like will read from in meetings sometimes. There's different meetings. There's like reading meetings, workbook meetings. There's always shares where you go around and people put their hand up if they want to share. And it's just like this super developed, comprehensive, wonderful resource.
How long were you involved? How long did this process take to go through?
Well over a year. And I bopped in and out to the program mostly just for sharing purposes because I don't realize things are bothering me until I explode. That's also like a people pleaser thing. You have like a complete fucking fit. You like push and push and push and do things for people and do things for people and do things for people. And then one day you're in the shower and you're like, fuck you.
It's like, it kind of comes out in like an explosion.
Yeah. Like, call it a people pleaser meltdown. So going to a 12-step program where you regularly are kind of like forced to reflect on what's going on helps you to be like, oh, this is bothering me. Like this has been bothering me. I didn't realize it. Or again, like a parent's dying and you're like, I should go here because I'm about to go through something really difficult and I should use my tools to handle this better best I can.
It gives you some like insight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Built-in support system.
Built-in support system, yeah.
You get to go to there's sometimes the really nice churches you go to and it's like, you're not religious, but you're like, check out this mahogany.
Yeah,
this book room is lovely. And for the most part, there are shitty people in 12-step programs and recovery, is riddled with really damaged people. So especially in AA, sometimes like people are trying to like fuck you and stuff. Like there's some predation that definitely can show up in these places. But for the most part, I've just met the most emotionally evolved people that want to do right and be responsible for themselves and their lives. Like, especially men. I've met a lot of men in 12-step that I'm like, I feel deeply comfortable around you, and I do not feel deeply comfortable around men at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. Because men are really need a healing.
Yeah, for sure.
From their own toxic, masculine, misogynistic environment. Misogyny damages men too, greatly. And so it's like, it's really, if you're a man who feels trapped, again, like, yeah, you can meet other men who want to get themselves out of this box, And I'm like, we need men in there. I know I'm portrayed as a man-hating feminist on the internet, and there is a truth to that. But deep down, I really just want men to heal also. That benefits them and then us,
Yeah, of course. I mean, I guess the men that are attending this are obviously they're putting in the work to try to heal from dysfunctional upbringings that they've had too.
Yeah.
So if they're putting in the work, hopefully they come out in a much better place.
Yeah. They'll be happier. But, you be slipping. Sometimes you be slipping.
I'm sure. I mean,
Keep your workbook.
But this was an incredibly vulnerable episode for you.
Thanks, buddy.
It's very, very appreciated. And I really hope that people value what you've put out right here because, you talked about it very honestly and eloquently, but this can't be easy to, to just throw out there. So thank you, because it's a service. It's absolutely
Thanks,
a
buddy.
service.
I'm a serviceman.
Yeah, you are. Bono.
I mean, thank you. I also think I can speak there are moments during this where I felt emotion, but not overwhelming
Sure.
emotion. And I think that I'm able to speak about this in a really thoughtful way because of this. You know what I mean? Like,
You have these tools that
Yeah.
you've cultivated because you have put in the work.
she did the work. But
this
the
is
framework,
a helpful framework and
it's
guideline.
a really helpful framework. I think a lot of people are not taught to have a framework on being a person in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like there's probably moments when I was younger where I wouldn't be able to really talk about any of this stuff because it would be so deep. There's such a deep well of pain associated with it. But like
Yeah.
as you heal, you can that is also why there's sponsorships in 12-step programs. Sponsors, like when people have reached a level of stability, we've talked about acts of service and like how that can be so healing for a person and like get you out of your own head that like your life is so shitty to like help others. You're like, oh, what am I saying?
Absolutely.
I'm so blessed. But yeah, I think it's like a program that is built on being able to take your findings and help others. And I've suggested it to every goddamn and I really hate the stank that's on 12-step because I think it stops people from having access to life-changing mental health resources. And I will say I was in a 12-step program and be like, I'm not a fucking weirdo. You know me. I'm not a fucking weirdo. I'm not a religious freak. I'm not ever pushing my rhetoric on anybody. I'm a pretty cool guy in a red crop top, I'm not
Sure.
I'm not a fucking weirdo freak, and I'm like I do feel like there should be representation for people who are great successes from 12-step because the stigma is really damaging and unfair. So
Okay. You heard it here.
You heard it here.
You heard an episodic. 12 steps I ate.
All right, John.
So one more time, where can they find this?
So look up adult children of alcoholics, and meetings and information should pop up. Their website's a little old school, but
Hey.
listen, a little like Comic Sans energy to the graphics.
Love that.
But,
And where can people find you?
Andrea Comedy 69 on Instagram, and follow our shows up on YouTube as well as all of the streaming platforms. But it's on John's YouTube. So what is your YouTube? JFOD Loves You?
Yeah, it's JFOD Loves You and then the little underscore thing.
Yeah.
But if you just type John F. O'Donnell into YouTube, you'll find it.
Yeah. So check us out.
And then Episodic on all of the audio platforms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John, what's JFOD Loves You?
Yeah, at JFOD Loves You. Honestly, if you just go to jfodlovesyou.com, that's like my link tree. That's everything. Just
hub.
honestly, just go to jfodlovesyou.com. You'll find everything you need.
The JFOD hub. Enter the matrix.
Enter the JFOD hub matrix. Oh, it's fun.
All right. Stay crazy.
Bye.
Bye.